everybody, it's Suzanne Spooner, QHHT Level 3 practitioner in Des Moines, Iowa, and I'm back. I took about 2 months off to help out with my sweet little new grandson, Wally, Mr. Walter. Um, so anyways, I've started seeing clients again, I don't know, it was last week or two. And I have a new session segment for you, and it's a blast. It is so much fun. Oh my gosh, this client did so well. And she is a QHHT practitioner, which makes it really fun. So where to begin? I don't have the title for this one yet. It's going to be a good one. I just don't have it while I make this little intro recording. So it'll be a surprise to all of us. But okay, here's the most hilarious part of her session. So you think when you do a QHHT session, you're going to go to another lifetime. There really is no such thing as time. So it could be, in the moment of now, or a concurrent life, or a parallel life, past, present, future, whatever you want to wrap your head around. But anyways, you think that you're going to, maybe go back to a life that one you would love to have, for me, it'd be like, being royalty somewhere in the Middle Ages, maybe, or before in Atlantis. Um, you don't expect that you'll go or be something that you're not comfortable with, right? Which to me makes it even better because it's unexpected and you don't make that stuff up. You never make this stuff up, by the way, but in the client's mind, they can't make that stuff up. So the funny part about this is as she starts in on this other lifetime, she says that she's not human, she's bird-like, she's got long legs, but kind of like elephant dry skin, and an insect-looking body. That's the funny part. She has transparent wings, two sets of arms, a longer one and a shorter one. Oh my gosh. And her head is like disc shaped. Oh my gosh, she is quite the being. But okay, why it's so funny is because she hates insects in this life. She hates insects. So what kind of body does she have? She has an insect body, which, oh my gosh, her high self and I had some pretty good giggles over that later in the session. But anyways, it is such a cool session, or excuse me, a lifetime because the planet that she's on is going away. Life can't be sustained there anymore, and she's one of two eventually that are on the planet before a ship comes and takes her. And then she's in this new role of, she calls herself an ambassador, helping beings from other planets that their planet is going to go away, is not sustainable anymore. So anyways, it was just a really cool lifetime to explore and discover for her. And then her list of questions are amazing. Oh my gosh, it was kind of a long list, but we got through it all. And looking at it here, she asked questions about DNA. Oh my gosh. Um, she saw her grandmother's shadow in a home that she used to live in. She wanted some information about that. This is kind of cool. Back in 1984, she was having electrical issues in her car at the exact same spot on the same road for quite a while. It just the car wouldn't work just during from one point to the next point consistently. It would give her issues, which was kind of weird. It was a cool answer. And she sees an energy field when she's out in Arizona with her sister. They saw it, they went back and checked it a few times. It's like a plasma E field. So that was kind of cool. Oh, she had a really good, she wanted to be cleared of all blocks and beliefs that hold her back from her true potential and purpose. That was really cool requests to make, and the answer was phenomenal. So anyways, there's lots of good things here in her list of questions and her body scan. Go back to that on here. Yeah, so it's a great session. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can enjoy her insect body description with her, and then her high self talking about that later. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, so this is the unnamed session as of right now. You'll see it on YouTube when it goes out. I have to think on that one today. I'm really busy. I've got a lot of sessions to do this week and next week. So maybe there'll be another one that I can put out here eventually soon. Other than that, Ancient Lifetimes. We are getting ready to go in September to Egypt, and it's a full group. We have no room to add anybody else, but we are working on 2026. And all I can give you right now, although we're really close, we're getting down to like getting the website ready to pop up with the new tour, are the dates. It is April. We're going to do April, so maybe a little tiny bit cooler. April 12 to 24, 2026 will be the first one. And then September, which we probably won't put up for a little bit, that's going to be September 1st through 13th. Same as this year, actually. It's kind of funny. But April's will be April 12th to April 24th. So if you want to start looking at your calendar there, and if you go to ancientlifetimes.com, if you are thinking, man, I really want to do this with Sarah and Suzanne, we'd love to have you. And the way that you find out about our tour first is to sign up for the newsletter. We don't really have a newsletter, but this is what the mechanism that we use to send out first announcement that a tour has opened up. So you're going to want to sign up for that newsletter / tour announcement. And we should be doing that, I hope. What is this? This is like, what is today? The 17th. I hope we have that tour up within 10 days. So there you go. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you had a wonderful couple of months. And I'm really excited to share this session with you. Thank you so much to my wonderful client, Janet, for allowing me to share this fun session with you. All right, SuzanneSpooner.com is my website. You can check out all my YouTube session recordings there. AncientLifetimes.com for the Egypt trip info, which is such a blast. Okay, I think that's all I got. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye. What's the very first thing that you notice?
Red, dry.
Say that again.
Red, dry
Okay.
dirt.
Red, dry dirt. Tell me more.
Could possibly be sun-scorched.
Okay.
It seems hard. It doesn't blow in the wind.
And so when you look out to the distance there, what do you notice?
Not much I don't see any vegetation. It just seems red and dry and hard.
Does the land stay pretty flat, or is it hilly?
It appears to be pretty flat.
Pretty flat. Okay, you're doing so good. And when you bring your focus closer to where you're at and you look around, what do you notice close to you?
It's vast. There's not much there.
Do you feel like you're on your own there? Are there others around you?
I don't see anybody.
Okay, so just kind of bare where you're at.
Yes.
Any vegetation at all?
No. almost appears to be like flaky rock.
Flaky rock.
But not, it doesn't flake. It looks, has the appearance of flakiness, but it's not. It's solid.
Okay, understood. Wow. You're doing great. Let's bring your focus to yourself there. When you look down, do you see your feet?
Yeah, but they're not human.
They're not human?
No.
Yeah, describe them for me the best that you can.
It's almost bird-like.
Okay, tell me in as much description as you can what your feet are like.
They seem to be chunkier than earth bird feet, but gray in color. Almost like elephant color.
And as you move up your body, what is the rest of your body like?
The legs are long and lanky. Appear to have skin like an elephant.
Like an elephant?
Yeah, very kind of dry and wrinkly.
And your body? What is your body like?
Almost insect looking.
Say that again?
Insect looking.
Okay, and describe that for me the best that you can.
It appears to have a long, lanky torso.
Is it the same color as your legs?
Yeah. But it has wings that are almost translucent.
Okay. Are they big or little?
Medium size, but there's 2 sets on each side.
Okay. Do you have arms?
Looks like 2 sets of them as well.
Are they big or little?
The top one is longer than the set below. Not real thick, but 2 different lengths.
Okay. So interesting. And then the top of your body, what is that like?
Coloring is almost like a panther.
Okay.
No hair follicles, though. It's more of a dry skin, like elephant.
So the face kind of like a panther? Or the head?
The head is almost like a disc. When it's not kind of like if you put a plate on top of something like that.
Do you feel like your body is big or little or in between?
I think in between. It doesn't feel real tiny like earth insects.
And so when you move around, do you do that with your feet or with your wings or both? Or what is that like?
I can fly if I want, it just showed me. But I can walk on my legs like a human. I don't jump or crawl around. I walk on my hind legs.
You walk on your legs, okay.
Yeah.
And what support do your wings give you if they do?
I can fly for short distances. It's nothing for a long distance.
Do you like it when you do that?
Yeah.
What is that like for you?
Kind of jump, and then my wings start to take me in. It helps me glide farther through the air. Or
that sounds so interesting. You're doing great. And is there anything going on around you?
I don't see anybody around. It looks like I might be practicing with my wings. Just kind of running and jumping and gliding.
Wow. And how do you spend your time? What do you do?
Just see others now.
Say that again?
I see others now.
Okay, what are they like?
Must be young, because they're bigger than me. We inhabit this planet. We don't require much for food. It appears that we go to some sort of river or pond or something that has liquid in it. And that is where we get our substance, our food, from that liquid.
And do you feel a connection with the others there or not?
Yes, they're my family.
Oh, nice. And so do you have a particular role within your group?
Nothing yet, because I'm young. I'm still learning.
They're bigger because they're older?
Yes.
Okay. Do you notice, are there other smaller ones like you?
I appear to be the youngest. There's not many of us. I feel like we're almost instinct that we're going to perish.
Tell me more about that.
I'm trying to understand why we're not able to populate.
You said your group inhabits this planet. Can you tell me more what you know about your planet?
It appears to have much damage to it, that there's not much life on it anymore. And that when that stream is gone, the rest of life that inhabits on that planet will be gone as well. And the planet receives some sort of catastrophic damage.
Tell me what happened.
It happened just before I was born or hatched. I'm not sure which one. Stories say that it was an asteroid. And it's the climate change that's destroying life.
Do the elders there talk about what they're going to do if life isn't sustainable there?
Doesn't appear to be much that they can do. Because with the damage, they lost control or contact with other life forms off planet. That somehow telepathic communication was not reaching others for help. That is what happened to other entities that were on the planet as well.
That all happened from after the asteroid hit?
Yeah, something is maybe harmed the creatures, that they lost their ability. I'm not sure.
Do you feel like there's other types of animals or creatures or others on the planet besides your type?
I believe we are the last. There's only a dozen of us.
Oh my goodness. How do you feel about that?
Sad. Because unless something happens to me, I will most likely be one of the last to go.
Wow. And anything else happening there that you notice that you want to mention?
Love and compassion for each other is very strong. Sadness that the beloved planet is dying as well.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're doing so good. Well, let's do this. We're going to leave that scene that you're looking at. We're going to drift and float to an important day in that life that you're viewing, a day when something important is happening, and now you're there. And what's the next thing that you notice?
Light in the atmosphere. It's coming to the surface.
How would you describe that?
A sphere. It's coming down to the surface. There's only 2 of us left.
Do you feel much older than you were before or not?
Yes.
And the one that's left with you, tell me more about that one.
It's an elder, one of the last. It's been a hard life watching them pass. But I have hope now. With the spirit I landed, that I won't be left here by myself.
And that light that's coming down to the surface of the planet, tell me as much as you can about that, please.
It has lights on the bottom. It is coming down. It doesn't land completely. The bottom opens up. A different race comes out.
Say that again.
A different race than me comes out of it. Her SOSs have been received, and they're there to help us escape imminent death on this planet. They allow us to come onto their ship.
What is that like?
Overwhelming. I've never seen so many gadgets and other beings. I've lived a very sheltered life, thinking that there was no one else except for us.
What are they like? How are they different than you?
They're all different. Some look like cats. Some are tall and blue. One looks like my Cleo, the elongated Amazon. They say that we were scientists there on that planet. We're trying to receive data and possibilities on how to restore the planet.
They are the scientists?
Yes.
Okay.
But somehow our communication, when the asteroid hit the planet, it pushed it way out of its orbit, and so we were too far for them to receive our telepathic. And then all the particles that were stuck in the atmosphere for a long time kept things very challenging to send messages. And it wasn't until that point where things started to clear enough so that they could find out where we were shoved into the galaxy.
Does that help explain to you a little bit more about what happened then?
Yes, because that happened before I was in existence in that life. And I was trying to understand what the elders were saying. But they weren't clear on what happened as themselves.
And now that you're with them on their ship, then what happens?
I think I find my role as an ambassador for them. As they're like a first aid ship to find entities that were in distress like us. And my role is to help others as they are found to understand why and where they're at, and to help navigate new lives, new roles.
So, like other people whose planets are not thriving?
Yes.
And the elder that was with you, does he do the same job or is that different?
His is different. He stays more in the scientific side. That he was able to provide great information of what he experienced and how the asteroid had changed everything from the planet's surface to how it had created a different orbit around a different sun, I think. I'm still foggy on what all that is all about. But he's more on the scientific side.
And how do you feel about your role as ambassador?
I like it. I like helping and educating others and helping them find their path after great devastations.
How exactly do you do that when an opportunity arises to help others like that?
Help them find their strengths within themselves and their interests. And help them heal the wounds that have been created within their psyche of the great devastation that they had witnessed and endured themselves. It is very traumatic to watch whole civilizations, whole tribes be wiped out, and a great burden and responsibility to know that you might be one of the last of the species.
Like you.
Yes.
You're doing so good. Anything about your, excuse me, anything about your role that stands out that you want to mention?
It's a bridge to remind each species that even though we may be different, we are all the same. We are all one. We all want to belong. We all want love. And that we can coexist in harmony, no matter what species we are.
Perfect. All right, now let's go ahead and leave that scene you're looking at. Let's drift and float to another important day. And now you're there. And what do you notice happening now?
We seem to have stopped at a planet.
At a planet?
Yes. Many different species on this planet. This must have been the reason why I was the ambassador, to help others bridge into being able to live in a multi-species community and planet. That we all have great gifts to provide and knowledge.
What are you told about their planet?
This is a refuge for those that have lost their home. But this planet is inviting them to call it home.
To call the planet home?
Home, yes. That you can feel the energy and the love emanating from the planet to all the species. They're all connected. They all speak one language.
And so what happens next?
I have the want to go back onto the ship and continue my role as ambassador. I like that role.
It seems like it suits you well.
Yeah. It reminds me that when I felt defeated and all that was lost, that there was always hope. And I want to continue that hope for others.
So in this instance, you've helped multi-species reacclimate to a new planet?
Yes. Yes, I help them so that they can prosper, feel whole again, and possibly repopulate their species. so that they are not the last.
Do they seem to adjust well to that?
Yes. There's many people on the plot, or many entities or species on the planet that will continue the process where I left off. They are never left on their own devices. They will always have the support that they need to find their way, to find their way to feel a part of the planet, a kindredship with it, along with the other species.
As the ambassador that you are, has your form stayed the same as it was when you're on your planet, or has that shifted in any way?
It appears that it's shifted a little.
In what ways?
My arms have gotten a little more ambidextrous. There wasn't much need to grasp or hold things on the planet because there wasn't much there. And now I've learned how to do that so that my arms don't feel like just there anymore. They feel like they're a vital part of my body.
Mm.
And the wings have developed a fluffier, pretty span. And they have like an iridescent, multifaceted, looking through a diamond, where you can see the colors of the spectrum flowing through them. They're very pretty. I like them. They make me look handsome.
The other species that you come across, are they all different from what you look like?
Yes, I haven't found any more species that look like me and my elder. We may possibly be the last. That isn't foreseen yet.
How do you feel about that?
Sad, but not as sad as when I was on the planet. Because I didn't see the purpose of that life when I was there. Because I didn't have a real purpose of what I was to do and what I was there for. And I do see that now, that I was there so that I could do this job that I enjoy. And exciting every time we find more lost or species that need our assistance. I find great joy in that.
Nice. Do you still spend time with the elder?
When I can. He is very busy with his science, and we're always finding more species that need my attention. But we still find time for each other.
That must be nice.
Yes.
All right, you're doing so very good. Let's leave that scene that you're looking at. Let's drift and float to another important day. And now you're there. And what do you notice now?
I'm much older now. Slowing down.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I'm much older now, slowing down. It's been a long time. It appears on the planet where we take people, other entities for refuge.
Have you stayed on the same ship the whole time, or has that changed at all?
Same ship. Same ship. But I'm not in need of a slower pace. Looks like I did find another species like me, but I don't see that we were able to reproduce.
So maybe you are the very last of that species.
Yes.
And you want to be slowing down now as you get older?
Yeah, and just enjoy what life has to offer at a slower pace.
And the ones that have worked with you, been a part of your job, what are they thinking about as you're slowing down now?
They are sad, but they understand that my species doesn't have the same lifespan that they have. You know, mine is long, not as long as theirs. So they understand my need to just be slower now and let someone else be the ambassador. Because I did a good job.
How do you spend your days now?
Appears to be just hanging out in the sun. I like to watch the younger species with their playfulness. That's fun for me to watch. Wasn't much playfulness when I was young.
Sounds like you've accomplished a lot, though.
Yeah.
Very good at what you were doing as an ambassador.
Yes, yes.
All right, you're doing so good. Let's do this. Let's leave that scene that you're looking at. And let's drift to the very last day of that life. And now you're there. And what's going on? Why will it be the last day?
It's because I decided that it's time to go home. I'm okay with that. I know that just because this vessel is tired and worn out doesn't mean that this is the end. I know there is new horizons, new things to explore for me, but just not in this vessel.
And so on this last day, are there others with you or are you on your own?
There are others with me, around me. And it's very sacred, but they allow you space so that you can greet other souls that you are connected with on the other side, so that you have the space to allow them in to help you pass over.
Oh, what is that like, that process for you?
It's like pulling a string and the suit just comes off and I float up. It was just that easy. That's cool. Yeah, just pull the string, comes off, and my soul floated away.
Wow. And then what does that feel like?
Feels so light, invigorating. I didn't realize, I knew I was getting tired, but I didn't realize how tired my body did feel on that avatar. But it served me well. It was a good life.
And now that you're out of that body and you look back on that life, what were some of the lessons that you learned in that life?
And Janet has been on this ship many, many times. She visits it even in the current life she is living. She just couldn't understand what role that she might have and how she can help others. She never really looked at herself as an ambassador.
What do you want her to understand more about that?
That all of her experiences provides her with the empathy and the knowledge to help others accept their true selves and to let go and be open to so much more than what you can physically see with your eyes.
What would you say was some of the lessons that she learned in that life?
Always be hopeful. There's always a silver lining, and no matter what you may see, there can always be hope. And as long as you have the hope, there can always be change. And creating a negative situation into a positive situation, no matter what. It's never gloom and doom all the way.
What do you think was her purpose in that life that you showed her?
To provide her with the skills to be strong, connect with her inner being, and use her hope to always guide her to do what is best and helpful for other beings, no matter what or who or where they are from. That she has the capacity of that great love to include all.
Right. And how does that life relate, most importantly, to her current life?
That the best things that seem to be devastating a great beauty can always emerge from that, and that don't despair in the devastation. Always find the silver lining so that great change can be made for all.
And is there anything else about that life that you want her to understand more deeply?
That she's always has a great compassion and the will to bridge, help others find their way that are seeking a higher vibration than where they are currently at, that she helps them along with as she is creating and improving her in vibration as well.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Do you think she'll be surprised about her life as the ambassador?
Or the type of being that she was.
I love that. Well, as you know, she came into this session with a wonderful list of questions. Would it be okay if we start with those?
Yes.
And would it be appropriate to ask for the scan of the body first?
Yes.
Perfect. Please start scanning her body. Tell me where you are focused on within her body for healing and repair. We do expect full and complete healing today. Where are you searching first?
Her eyes.
Okay, and what do you see going on with her eyes?
She's put blocks there. She is very sensitive and can see energy. Fear comes from when she was a child. The unknown, the era that she grew up in, was taboo to have the abilities that she has. And it scared her. She didn't understand what she was seeing. And then also she bought into the dogma that eyesight goes as you get older.
What do you want her to know about all of that?
It's all rubbish.
And the blocks that she put on there?
She's trying to release it. She's like, but. But she doesn't need them. She can release them.
What are you doing to assist her with that?
Trying to show her what she could possibly be receiving with her physical eyes if she releases the blocks. She's got a great peripheral vision that comes from her insect species life that she just lived.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
She always knew that she had that ability to see. That's why people aren't able to sneak up on her easily. Which also helped her with her fears of dark in this lifetime.
So, when she allows for those blocks to be removed, what will be different for her exactly?
We hope that the eyeglasses won't be needed, but right now it's still uncertain if she will fully release it. It would be easier for her if she would just let it go, because as she says, prescription eyeglasses with bifocals is expensive. And she's been having to change her prescription down quite a bit.
Is that because her eyes are improving?
Yes, they are improving. Sometimes she's impatient because it's not coming fast enough for her. But that seems to be where some of her dizziness that she gets every once in a while comes from, is because her eyes are changing and she's still wearing the glasses that aren't the right prescription because they've changed since she's had her new glasses in February.
Oh my goodness, they've changed already.
Yes.
I know you can heal anything. Can you go in there and just repair it all? And she can be done with the healing part of that?
We are working a lot on astigmatism right now because that is the biggest blockage to her eyesight right now.
Okay.
She doesn't need that.
What was the root reason for creating the stigmatism?
She was still very fear-based at the time and was blocking the sight. She didn't understand the struggling with the right word. The type of vision that an insect has versus a human. So we're integrating that. And that appears to be where the stigmatism's coming from.
Does that have anything to do with that circle with the eye in the middle that she sees, and sometimes half, sometimes full?
Yes, that is the two different types of vision that she has. When those objects come into her eyesight, it is different from her human eyes. So she's able to distinguish, see the energy within the air, and that's getting stronger. They're no longer just the mirage-looking energies that she used to see when she saw portals. She knew she saw portals for many years. When she traveled with her husband, she would see him in the fields and in pastures as they were driving down the road.
Is that like what she saw with her sister in Arizona?
Yes.
Tell her all about her seeing portals.
That was the first one that she saw close up like that. She was probably within 15 feet of it. Most of the time they were always like 100 yards or more away. But she mistakenly thought that they were negative portals, and so she thought she had to close them and send healing to them.
And from your perspective, what was really going on then?
Not sure if the rip in the lining of the dimensions for travel. It was other entities were using them for traveling from one point to another.
So the one in Arizona where she and her sister both saw it, they were driving back and forth checking if it was still there, and they didn't get out of the car. But if they would have, and they wouldn't have been worried about it being negative, if they would have touched it, or would anything have happened?
Nothing would have happened other than it was coming into their view. Their vibration wasn't high enough for either one of them to safely pass through it. That's why most humans don't see them or go through them.
But her ability to see them, what is the key message that you want her to understand about that?
That time travel is real, does happen. And she's been seeing the portals for many, many years. Help her conquer her fear of the unknown. She has allowed fear to run her life so much that it's now time for her to understand and release the fear so that she can be open to receive much more information.
Wow. And when she trusts that gift, what will be different for her in her life?
Living without fear will be astronomical change for her, and so liberating and freeing. That would be the biggest change. But her ability to accept and help all is her greatest gift to the universe, and we need that energy that she offers.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that. All right, back to her body. Where else in her body is requesting healing and repair?
Her throat.
Okay. She mentioned, especially when I think she started working at the hospital, that she felt the throat closing and a mucus buildup feeling. What do you see going on in that area?
It started when she didn't believe in herself and feel she was worthy enough that what she had to say was important and intelligent enough, that she started hiding behind that so that she wouldn't speak. She still reverts back to that old pattern sometimes when fear or nervousness starts creeping in on her. She still struggles with being the shining light. She likes to hide. She likes to be the wallflower. And that isn't who she is meant to be.
Is that why she's had issues with her thyroid? Or is it something different?
Yes, the thyroid is because she wasn't always speaking her truth. And the thyroid started much afterwards, but the years still were imprinted in her cells. So now we need to go back and clear that imprint of feeling inadequate, because it's not true.
And explain to her how you do that, clearing that feeling of inadequacy.
Showing her here today and her other regressions that she had, she learned that her off-world lives had great importance and people depended on her to bring her knowledge, her compassion, and her ability to unite people, energies, entities is a great use, and that she needs to continue to share her gifts.
She claims that she prefers not to take any medication, but she was taking the thyroid medication because she was losing hair. What can you share with her about that?
The hair loss was from the thyroid because it governs so much of the human body. So the hair loss was a sign that she needed to work on healing the thyroid. Otherwise, if she wouldn't have had the hair loss, she wouldn't have paid attention to and continued to neglect the thyroid.
Oh, so that just got her focused on that thyroid and the healing that needed to happen there?
Yes.
Okay. And now that she understands that, what are you doing to heal that thyroid?
You're sending it much love and acceptance, and knowing that it is important and needed to continue to show and speak the truth, her emotions, her desires. It is important to allow that to flow freely and easily. And that will heal the throat and the thyroid.
Will she notice differently after the session because of that?
Yes, yes. Because she is acknowledged. She started acknowledging it before, but now she fully understands what holding back has caused over the years. She didn't feel like she was in a family where she could voice her opinion freely and easily, but she has had that ability to do that with her husband in this life. So it's just small pockets in this life where she still needs to harness that freedom.
And the best way for her to do that is what?
Continue to speak about what changes that she feels is coming for planet Earth. She is pretty accurate in most areas of what changes that she sees will happen in the dynamics of humanity on this planet.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Anywhere else in the body that you're focusing on for healing?
We are removing all past injuries and traumas that were created in her right shoulder. She knows and is working on braiding in all aspects of her life that she has created healing in. She knows, but she wasn't aware of that. She was still hanging on to the cellular memories. So she's working on releasing those now.
Oh, nice. How can she maintain that healing afterwards?
Focusing on, as she heals, as what she calls the onions of her life, that when they are healed mentally, they're also healed physically. That she doesn't have to hang on to it or remember it in a discomfort way. That the memories will be there more as an observer, not as a participant.
And so after the session, what will she notice differently about the neck and that shoulder pain that's been present for a while?
The tension will subside from her neck and shoulders. She will have to be mindful of making sure that she's not pulling up her shoulders, though, because that's a habit. When she gets stressed or feels discomfort, she pulls her shoulders up to her ears. So as long as she is being mindful of letting the shoulders relax, that she's not carrying the weight of the world by herself on her shoulders, that the discomfort will dissipate.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that. And anywhere else in the body you're looking at before I go to her list?
We were working on the hip at the same time as the neck and shoulders.
All connected?
Yeah. He's focusing on her right toe, big toe.
And what do you see going on in that right big toe?
We're working on correcting the abuse of the thong shoes that she wore.
Oh, this is the bunion?
Yeah.
Okay. And tell her how you're correcting that. She'll find that so interesting.
We're straightening it out. And as she knows with her own healing practice, that we're sending love and light to disrupt the damaged tissue or cartilage and bone that is no longer in the correct alignment, filling the space back in with love and light so that it has the tissue to hold it in place. And the final phase is soothing the muscles and tissues around it so that it plays nice with the new energies that is forming in the foot.
Nice. How soon do you think she'll feel there's a change there?
It'd be about a week. So we need to regrow some of the bone and straighten the ligaments so that it stays stable.
Nice. Will she stay in a comfortable state while you do that?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. She mentions that she does not want to be on cholesterol medication at all, and that the doctors kind of are fearful with her about if she doesn't go on medication. Can you take a look there and tell us what you see?
There isn't any blockage. The numbers aren't as high. When she does her blood work, she'll find that her numbers will be lower. We've been working on that because we know that she does not want medication in her system that makes her feel old. She's always said that she wanted to grow old gracefully. And she has desire to grow very old.
Okay, that's a wonderful mantra to have.
So even though she has a doctor kind of like chatting in her ear, she knows that she will have a long, healthy life. It's just the Western medical that always wants to throw drugs at society.
Thank you for that. All right. And she asked about sinus and allergies.
We work on that, and then she starts to doubt it, and so then it comes back.
Oh, tell her more about that.
Mm-hmm. When she focuses on that she healed the sinuses from the past life of suffocating in a grain bin, she let it go and had a couple of years where she didn't have much allergies compared to what she had before. It's minimal. It's mostly now the air quality that she suffers from, as now the air quality is quite low with the wildfires. But once the atmosphere clears again, she will feel good again. She just likes to revert back to the old allergy standby.
Okay, so nothing that she really needs to do.
No, she has worked on that a lot, where she doesn't take allergy medication anymore. It used to be that she would have to take medication in order to function in the spring and fall. But she does wonderful and sleeps better when she doesn't take the Benadryl.
Okay, thank you for that. She asks about the tinnitus. What do you see going on with her ears?
So she's always receiving information, and the intensity corresponds to the amount of information she's receiving. She Now it's a little louder than it normally is because her vibration is raised considerably high. So she is learning as she navigates changing her vibration in order to connect with us. That the tendinitis is a gauge for her where she's at in the vibration.
How can she help herself with all of that?
Relax. Relax into the new energy and allow. She knows that the human body has to slowly acquire the ability to vibrate much higher than what it used to be as it transitions out of the carbon base cells. Sometimes she wants change too fast, but doesn't understand that it might be lonely if she goes too fast there by herself. She might know that we showed her that life where she was lonely on that planet. She's finally learned or realized that this is the second lifetime where she was very lonely on planets.
Do you think from this lifetime she's learned what she needed to learn from the loneliness that she carried over from the other lifetime?
It's helping her understand, in her words, why sometimes she feels like a misfit, why she doesn't feel like she connects with others. By that, she means that other than a very small handful of friends, her husband and her family, it's difficult for her to feel connected and inclusive with other groups.
Very good. And she asks about varicose veins.
Yes. We are working on improving the circulation in her feet and her legs. The pregnancies put a great strain on the veins and the ones that are showing now just weren't visible at the time when she had her surgeries. We are sending you much love and healing energy.
Thank you so much. Is there anywhere else in the body that is requesting healing before I move to her other list of questions?
She is good.
All right, thank you about that. She would like to have some answers about the DNA and would like more information on the activation of all DNA.
The DNA is not a double helix as your scientists perceive. That there's a whole other aspect that they are not able to see at this time, that as each DNA is activated, it opens up a whole nother rung of abilities that humanity will need as they go forward into the 3D and other dimensions and beyond. That in order to do and use the portals that you were talking about earlier, the additional 12 DNA in various steps would need to be activated in order for a human body to pass through. That activation allows the human body to continue to increase its vibration, and as it corresponds with the activation of more DNA is the increase of increase in vibration. It looks as though each strand of DNA has a mirror image next behind it of the higher vibrational DNA. She is having difficulty describing what she is seeing.
Help her the best way you can to describe what she's seeing.
Seeing the DNA helix placing a second identical one within decimals from it, and seeing energy, information flow freely and back from the original DNA helix that we know to the identical one that will be discovered and open soon. Some humans are close to being there now.
And she was in a meditation when she heard the word oracle and wonders what that means for her.
that was to remind her that all information is at her fingertips. She just needs to be vigilant with relaxing and wanting to discover more of her abilities.
Whoa. Tell her more about how she can access that at ease.
She doesn't force when she just sits down and allows whatever to come through. That is when she receives the best information, is when she doesn't try to force it or have an expectation. Sometimes when she's most tired and just thinks that she's going through meditation mechanically is when she gets the best information. She needs to just allow. She likes to control a lot.
Where does that sense of needing to control originate from?
With her lives with her biological father, she believed if she could control things, then she could control the abuse. So if she manipulated the situation so that manipulation isn't the correct word, but if she had X, Y, and Z in place, then he wouldn't get angry and abuse her. So that's part of her control, is thinking that she needs to control and have everything in place in order to maintain her safety.
And is there anything that you could help heal within her about the abuse that she's had in this lifetime or others?
She worked really hard on facing her abusers and taking back her innocence, her inner child, and her power. That was most powerful for her, that she took back her power in her inner child. That helped her release so much of that control and her ability to feel safe and to release fears.
Does she need to hang on to any of that anymore?
No.
And how will she feel now letting go of that?
Her heart is much lighter. There was a lot of guilt that she thought, what had she done to make those people think that they could take that from her? She understands now that it was never anything that she did. It was never anything that she did. She was a child.
All right. Thank you so much for that. She asks about the reoccurring nightmares as a child that she had, 2 different types for long periods of time. What's important for her to understand about those completely?
She had a lot of fears. She misunderstood. When we were trying to contact her, she was confused about all the energies and thoughts that people had. So when we came, it intensified her fears. So our contact ended up being fearful for her. But she was most helpful on the ships when we needed her to be the ambassador. We apologize that it caused her so much fear.
What do you think she has learned from the fear that she's carried in this lifetime?
That she doesn't have to know and understand everything that happens. But sometimes mystery is divine information, divine love, divine knowledge. And to be open to allow more divine guidance to come in.
And a lot of sirens going on here today. She wonders if that grade school nightmare may have had something to do with the special tests that she received, the hearing, the speech, and the special education classes. She doesn't have much memory from that time in her life.
This one almost kind of scares her. There was special testing done on her. She didn't want to believe it. That someone was looking for special gifts. Somehow, and she's struggling to give up this information. As she would say, she played dumb. She always had the ability to know and foresee when it was for sure not a good time to allow others to see her abilities. And that was one of them. And playing dumb resulted in the special classes. She's not a slow learner, as they labeled her. They did proceed to watch her over the years, though.
What was their intention in watching her?
gaining knowledge, trying to gain knowledge on the abilities of empath. And obtaining certain information from the ethers. But she never showed them that she had that ability. That was the playing dumb. So she found herself very bored in school a lot. And some of her boredom kept her from attaining some of the information that they were trying to teach her, because she would daydream. She likes to daydream. She did that a lot as a child.
Can I ask, a lot of people in her and my generation have memories of being tested in elementary school or even before. What was going on in general with those testing times?
Your government was trying to find gifted children and exploit their gifts. The ones as like Janet and you didn't allow them to see your gifts. So you didn't allow them to exploit you like some other unfortunate children had.
Well, it was funny what she said, because I remember playing dumb. I remember that, I remember that feeling. So
yes, you also had the ability to know when and who to show your knowledge to.
And so she made it through that by kind of quieting herself down. She endured the special ed classes, but got out of that situation with a lot of hard work on her behalf. What do you want her to know about her tenacity to do that?
That she is celebrated, that she was able to overcome that diversity and labels that your society puts on people, and know that she is capable of anything that she puts her mind to.
She wonders if that was when and why she created what she calls the impenetrable protection shield.
Yes. She created that so that they couldn't find her gifts. And she built it very well, even to this day, as she recently just learned that unless she mentally says, yes, it's okay for you to come into my circle, you are not going to reach the door. You're going to be stuck on the other side. But it was important for her to know, with the work that she wants to continue to grow in, that she has this control, she has the ability, that between her shield and our protection, that she is well protected and is in no harm.
All right, thank you. She wonders why she always felt uncomfortable energies in her childhood home, and for example, when she saw her late grandmother's shadow in one of her childhood homes.
Her first initial home on Milwaukee Avenue, the older home, was full of unsettled energies. Some of it was created by her father when he lived there. The family didn't know how to clear it. And others were attachments that some family members and visitors had left in the house. Those lower vibrational energies always made Janet feel very uncomfortable and afraid. But she didn't know how to clear them, and apparently her family didn't either, or wasn't aware of them like she was. The grandmother in her teenager home was to help remind her to open back up to her gifts that she had shut herself down to, and that reality isn't always what you perceive with your physical eyes.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. We send a lot of love to her grandma as she continues her journey.
Yes.
Does the grandma have a message that she would like to get through to her?
Yes. She loves Janet. She just didn't know how to show it physically. In that life, physical touch was difficult for her.
Okay, understood. She asks about the incident in 1984 with her car having the same strange electrical issues on the same spot on the highway multiple times, the hazard lights blinking and the car being very jerky through a certain area and then stopping once she passed beyond it.
Those were times that we were contacting her again. She didn't, per se, go to the ship, but there was interchange of information that she provided of where humanity was at that stage. She was still very green and naive to what importance that she has in this change for humanity.
She avoided that road after a while, but is there anything else about that experience you want her to understand more deeply?
Though we still contact her in her sleep, we have gained much knowledge on how to contact with her without creating so much fear. It is on many of the nights when she feels like she hasn't dreamed is when she is working with us mostly now.
Oh my gosh. All right. She'll find that really interesting. She asks about the karmic debt trap of all timelines in relation to the sexual and inappropriate abuse she's experienced. What can you share with her about that?
That has been cleared as she is no longer on that wheel, that she has cleared the karma between her and Edgar. So she has nothing to worry about. He will still have to work on that energy, but that is his path, no longer yours. The great release was when she knows this, that when she quit calling him the sperm donor, she was allowing him way too much energy in an acknowledgement of what he had done and caused. Now that she has released that energy, but still acknowledges that he is a person, but not a person that has great importance in this lifetime.
So she's handling that in the best way that she can?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that. She would like some clarity. Several years back when she had stroke-like symptoms, went to the ER. Her left side went numb on the arm, and the ER said that headaches can cause this, but she wasn't having a headache that day. She started out with tingling in her finger that moved up to numbness throughout the whole arm. What was the message of that experience?
That one was sometimes rest is just needed at that point in her life. She felt she needed to be supermom, and that her list and task all needed to be completed before she laid her head down at night for bed.
Mm. Wow, that's a pretty dramatic red flag for needing a little more rest, not trying to do it all.
Yeah, she pushes herself that way and did that for many, many years.
The body's amazing in how it gives the messages, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we talked a little bit about the flashes of dizziness earlier, but she does mention in 2023 the head discomfort and quick flashes of dizziness started. Started feeling different pressure in the right ear. What was going on there?
Her physical body is getting acclimated to the new energies, the higher vibrations that are coming into this vessel. And sometimes it is a quick discomfort before we can get all the nerve endings to calm down to the new frequency. And the pressure was major downloads that she received, and after that she did see a huge difference in information and ability to provide healing as a conduit to others.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And we do this to her when she's at the work office at her not so fun job, as she puts it, because that's when she's bored and sitting still.
Okay. What's her real true purpose of being at that not so fun job?
She's still a vital bridge to send shards of hope to very stubborn group that they will become awakened and are working on it, but would be much slower awakening without her presence there.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. She asks, what is a reconnected healing and what does it mean to her?
Reconnected healing is the phenomenon when she facilitates the healing energy through her hands to a client. And this is just an analogy of how she can perceive it, is when they have neuropathy, and through the connection that she provides through the healing, she can help promote new neuron pathways to regain the feeling in those areas for the client much faster.
Thank you so much for that. She has a question about owls. A barn owl, she believes, almost hit their car windshield while she and her husband were driving, and while they were sitting out on the deck, she thinks a snow owl, it happened so fast she's not sure, but a big white snow owl came right around their periphery of their vision, in front of them even. What would you tell her about those two experiences?
The barn owl was the owl. It just had its navigation off and was kind of spooked, because it wasn't a normal time of the when an owl would be out. It was daylight. The white light on her deck wasn't an owl. She's been wanting to see extraterrestrials. We just brought something real close to her.
Okay. But her husband noticed it as well?
She is, as you said, as she kind of learned that ambassador, that when people are with her and she sees things, that she likes to have validation that she saw it too, so she helps them be open to see more than what they would normally see as well.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Okay. How did that change or affect him, though, seeing it, I wonder?
That one was still a mystery of not sure what they had saw. It happened so fast that they were just like, what was it? It had to be a no, because it didn't have any sound.
Okay. So fun. Okay, thank you for that. She asks, why does she get motion sickness when she's swimming or snorkeling in the oceans, but not when she's on a boat or not when she's moving in a car, just when she's snorkeling in the ocean?
That stems back to the fishhook that she talked about in her shoulder.
From the past lifetime as a mermaid?
Yeah. And she did have another past life where she was drowned. She's blocking the full view of an octopus is near there, so for some reason she doesn't want to see that. But it's the floating, the waving that she felt in the body as her life was exiting those avatars. And that floating in the water is a memory of what it felt like for her in those lives.
She would like that to be healed, though. She would like to be able to go snorkeling in the ocean without being sick.
We're working on that. She is now seeing that the reason, and that even though those deaths were tragic, that it wasn't meant for her to hang on to that memory and that, because she knows now that with each life that passes is a new birth on the other side.
Perfect. Thank you for that. She would like to feel only her energy within her protective circle. Can you help her with that right now?
Yes. This is good for her.
And why so?
It helps with her self-esteem of feeling the full beauty of her energy and her vitality. That she has squashed her self-esteem when she was younger, that she didn't see the beauty that emanates from her. And now she's able to see and feel this of her true her true being, light that she is.
And she can return there and understand that's the feeling of her true energy anytime she wants?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. She now asks her main guide to step into this circle, wanting to distinguish between her energy and the guides, and then to please step out again.
This is also very helpful for her for when she is in her healing practice. It is vital that Janet knows and can feel the energies that she invites into her circle that have her highest good and the client's highest good at all times, and not question is if she is inviting something that is not up, doesn't have the most best and highest outcome for either Janet or the client. She doesn't understand that, or she does understand now, but hasn't fully accepted the fact that she vibrates at a higher level, that unless she lowers her vibration, that the negative and unpleasant energies cannot come into her circle.
Okay, thank you for that. And then she also asks, as the guide steps out, to please ask her psychic surgical team to step into her circle so she can distinguish between their energy and hers.
She likes this one. One of her psychic teams calls himself Bob the Builder. His purpose is that he breaks up and disrupts the dis-ease in the body. And then he builds it back up with positive, loving energy. So he's fun, and she enjoys his sense of humor. And then she has various other ones that come in and help the client with their mental and spiritual healings. They're much more subtle than Bob the Builder, because he's pretty aggressive, but nonetheless, they are very important, that the whole body, etheric body, all the bodies are addressed in these sessions. It is vital that all components are being addressed so that the client can release and restore and maintain the healing once the session is complete.
Sounds like she's on the right path with the psychic surgery sessions.
Yeah, she's got a lot more fun coming.
Okay,
she just can't see it yet.
Okay. Okay, it'll be a fun mystery then to unfold. And
She puts too much expectation if we show her.
okay, what do you want her to know about that?
Her expectations are good, but again, that falls in the category of controlling. The beauty is allow the universe to just flow. That you don't have to control it. You don't have to figure it out. It is all figured out for you, and it is all there.
I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And then last on her list, she asks that you please clear all blocks and beliefs that hold her back from her true potential and purpose.
Yes, she's working on that. Her biggest block was what was she gonna see? How was she gonna handle seeing extraterrestrials that look so differently from her? And we brought through we call him the tripod, but he doesn't have a full distinguish, but the insect, because that is where one of her biggest fears is in this insect world.
Oh, wow. What an interesting life to show her then.
Yes.
And again, where do those fears sit now that she's had this experience?
She may still have a disdain for some of the nuisance ones, like the stink bugs, or, but she will learn to have a new appreciation because of the added visual that will be added to her eyesight with the insect of the multi lens that they look through.
You said that her good periphery vision?
Yes. That is part of it, but that's always been very prevalent in her eyesight, even as she was blocking it and putting blinders on. She just still had exceptional peripheral. You basically have to be kind of directly behind her without her being able to see at least the shadow of you.
Nice. Now, if she has some curiosity about what that planet was called or what her species was called, would you have that information to share with her?
It wasn't in this universe and wasn't a planet that I'm not sure even if I could say it. Showing me more of symbols.
What are the symbols like?
It's almost like an octagon with a line through it, and then a halo around it. It's difficult for Janet because she doesn't normally understand those types of symbols.
Okay, I was just curious. All right, thank you so much for that. Is there anything that she didn't ask today that you wish she would have?
I believe that everything will come together for her as she processes what she has learned today and learned to let go of, it will all come full circle for her.
She was wishing that the appointment was sooner when she made it. We were kind of giggling about, gosh, it just happens when it happens. But what do you want to tell her about why this was her day to have this experience?
We knew a long time ago that she was going to take the course in the psychic surgery in the Rahani, start getting her to think about off-world energies and possibilities. And she needed that time to expand her box, if you will, to be able to fully accept the information that was coming through, and for us to help her with some of the questions that she had today she would not have had 2 years ago. She would have asked more of the pain, the nightmares, and the car. But she wouldn't have asked so much about where she is meant to go with channeling the healing for other humans.
Right.
And that she needed time to release many, many, many fears before she got here today.
She's done a great job today, hasn't she?
Yes, she has done a phenomenal job.
And I think definitely that lifetime will surprise her.
Yes, yes.
Can't make this stuff up, right?
She would not have chosen an insect.
No. I love that. You are very clever in what you pick to choose the client. How often would you recommend that she listens to her recording to get the most benefit?
Weekly for a while. She really needs to wrap her mind around the possibilities and how much more is to come for her.
Perfect. Well, do you have a last message that you'd like to give to Janet before I bring her back up?
Yes. We love you. Continue in your journey. We know it may be difficult sometimes and scary, but you are navigating it splendidly. There's so much more that you have to offer and still to learn, and we know you are willing and able to continue to grow and spread your love. We thank you and we adore you. Much love.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming through so beautifully and clearly today. I hope she's received even more information than she expected. We are very grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome.